Hello everybody and welcome back to the F1 2021 My Team Career Mode with me, Dan, and the Radiant Racing team. We conclude what was a mixed bag for the first week of Season 2 with a win in the opening race in Bahrain and then an 8th position in China after a poor qualifying. See if we can top the week off with something a little bit more exciting, a little bit better than that. And then we'll move on next week to round 4, which will be in Portimao, Portugal. Now, I'm actually going on holiday to Cornwall for a week from today. I've just gotten up at 7 AM to record this video because I ran out of time last night. So don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell. For every like that I get will be the extra hour of sleep I receive tonight. To get onto the starting grid, and once again it is Mercedes front row lockout with our championship rival Valtteri Bottas on the front row. Then we're followed by the Red Bulls of Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez. Then we have Lando Norris alongside Daniel Ricciardo. And then finally we break the trend of 2x2 with Charles Leclerc and Radiant Slothz. Running out the top 10 we have Carlos Sainz and Pierre Gasly as per usual. Behind them Fernando Alonso's in following close behind them, we have Yuki Tsunoda, Esteban Ocon and Sebastian Vettel line up behind them. Then we have Lance Stroll and, of course, Alfa Romeo's newest driver, Mick Schumacher, followed by Zhou Guanyu and Antonio Giovinazzi. And then finally, for the final two rows, we have George Russell lines up alongside teammate Nicholas Latifi. And finally, it is Nikita Mazepin and Christian Lundgaard. I'll be quite clear before we get started. I've only been awake for about 10 minutes, so if I do sound a bit crap and my commentary's a little bit weird, that is why. I can still barely see through my eyes right now as we come down towards turn 1. We've got a three-wide battle for the lead going on. Up ahead, Max Verstappen having a great start. Lewis Hamilton mirroring what happened in the 2021 season by being forced onto the curbs by Max Verstappen, as we see Radiant Slothz going toe-to-toe with Carlos Sainz for the second time on the lap already. He has managed to come out on top again and herds him away from alongside of his car as they... Oh my god, a massive slide there for Radiant Slothz. You see Daniel Ricciardo gets past his teammate up ahead. Charles Leclerc drops all the way down to 11th. He's had a terrible start there as Radiant Slothz runs off the road. And they come down into the little dip and up towards the hill, and here we go. Valtteri Bottas maintains the lead. Lewis Hamilton actually gone backwards from the start, losing 2 positions there. Radiant Slothz, of course, up 1 position. Could have been a little bit more as you see a bit of front wing go off in the background there. We've got a safety car. It is the virtual safety car coming out for the debris from one of the back markers. Have a look what was going on there. As they come down towards lap 2, we got Lewis Hamilton coming into the pits. He must have taken some damage. Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc also in the pits, having taken some damage. Not a great start for those teams. Well, unless you're Valtteri Bottas in Mercedes, then I guess you've just been promoted to driver number 1 for this season. As Radiant Slothz draws alongside to intimidate Lando Norris under the safety car. Antonio Giovinazzi also way down at the back as well. He may have been the one who destroyed his front wing. We'll have a look in a moment. This is the start for Radiant Slothz. That's Charles Leclerc giving him the squeeze on the left. And then he gets to watch the Camp McLaren fight each other into turn 1. He tries to go up the inside, but there's just no room. Appears to be hit from behind from something. And then there's a Ferrari out of nowhere. There's another Ferrari coming down towards the second chicane. Leaves plenty of room, but they can't carry the speed through the corner because, again, Daniel Ricciardo and Lando Norris are in the way to go on with Lewis Hamilton. This is where it all went wrong for him. Max Verstappen had an amazing start there. Shoves his way into the Mercedes sandwich, and as they come down towards turn 1, Bottas runs it wide on purpose, and that shoves Verstappen into Hamilton and causes some damage. There's Sergio Perez there, just sliding through, just to add insult to injury. As we watch Charles Leclerc, so he was the Ferrari on Radiant Sloth's right-hand side. came in incredibly fast, and looks like he did hit the wheel of Radiant Slothz, who then has to run in wide because Carlos Sainz is up his inside. And then this was our friend Antonio Giovinazzi trying to go past Nikita Mazepin by rear-ending his car. Traditionally, that doesn't usually work. But it would appear as though the virtual safety car is now over, so let's get back to racing. Joe Guanyu, by the way, for the first time in his F1 career, almost running in the points on merit. There's still a long way to go, though. We're only on lap 3 of 16, so it may change up a bit. And he's got 3 faster cars in Lewis Hamilton, Charles Leclerc, and Carlos Sainz, bearing down on him from behind. Yuki Tsunoda also back there as well. It looks like he's going for a move. As we rejoin Radiant Slothz. Coming down towards where Charles Leclerc binned it into the wall just last weekend. And Radiant Slothz is looking all over the back of Lando Norris. He's right under the gearbox now. Almost touching. He's sniffing the fumes from the back of that McLaren. Inhaling in a very inappropriate way as they come down the DRS straight. Norris, of course, also get a DRS here from his teammate, but will Radiant Slothz be able to use any of his skills? No, he was not. No skills to break the DRS train. As we ride aboard through the helicopter shots, you can see he is managing to actually keep up, which is in stark contrast to the race that he had here last year. And well, up ahead, Max Verstappen, actually the perpetrator of the train at the moment. No, sorry, Sergio Perez is actually the perpetrator of the train. He's 1.6 behind Valtteri Bottas right now, so it looks like this is going to be a battle of the pit stops. All of these cars very bunched up. Any of them could take it if someone makes a mistake. And look again, Radiant Slothz taking a much tighter line through the chicane, and he's right up behind Lando Norris for the second time now. And he's going to go up the inside before they've even got to the DRS zone. He's done it. Into the second to last corner. Round the final corner he goes. And then he'll get the DRS from Daniel Ricciardo as well, just to try and make his escape away from the McLaren. 4 cars now separating him from the lead. One of them is championship rival Valtteri Bottas, who has pretty much been there at the front the entire time and going toe-to-toe with him when they've been battling for the lead so far. Radiant Slothz has won his first encounter with Bottas at the front, then had to sit the last race out, considering that he was started from almost at the back due to a poor qualifying. As we see, Max Verstappen and Daniel Ricciardo have now come in. Bottas is still out there. Sergio Perez dropped even further back. He's now going to be vulnerable to Radiant Slothz. To come round turn 1. It's going to be a battle of the pit stops at the end of this lap. You can pretty much assume that they will be coming in. And on the subject of pit stops, those who pitted around the start of the race, Lewis Hamilton still 20 seconds behind Pierre Gasly, although he is closing fast. But they are actually making some progress right now. There is somebody else down there in 22nd. I'm not quite sure who it is, just scanning through the leaderboard right now. Antonio Giovinazzi is down there. I cannot work it out in my semi-awake state right now.
Box, box, box.
Who is missing? Who is missing? Oh, it's Nicholas Latifi. Well, of course it is. That I was expecting someone that is not usually down in last, but unfortunately, no. Anyway, we come round. Radiant Slothz deciding to take the scenic route into the pit lane. Nearly goes up the rear end of Sergio Perez as they come down. So Bottas is in as well. He has been held up by Perez and Norris as they come in for their stops. There he goes. And Radiant Slothz tucks back in again behind the Red Bull. Now, somewhere on track are Max Verstappen and Daniel Ricciardo. It appears as though they are... Oh, there they are. They've just appeared in the background. And this is going to be very close as they come out of the pit lane. Daniel Ricciardo looks as though he's going for a move on Verstappen. It may work, but they've somehow managed to get out ahead of the two. And Lando Norris, the big loser here, is still stuck behind his teammate and Max Verstappen. I spoke too soon. He's overtaken his teammate, but he's still stuck behind Max Verstappen. And Radiant Slothz puts himself into what can only be described as net P3. As we've got Esteban Ocon, Sebastian Vettel, Mick Schumacher, Nicholas Latifi, and Christian Lundgaard up ahead. Christian Lundgaard, who is actually just the front of the screen right now. There's Bottas, and he's getting in the way. He is pulling an Antonio Giovinazzi and holding up the Mercedes to change the race order. And look at this. Perez and Slothz know it. They are going to try and take full advantage of this. Bottas, for whatever reason, is just refusing to overtake the Dane. As they come around, and look at the gap. It's come all the way down to half a second between Bottas and Perez. Kicking up dust there as they all try blasting around the final corner as fast as possible, just to stop the Mercedes from escaping. Radiant Slothz needs to do another lap sitting behind the Red Bull, but this is... it's come down to a 7-lap stint between these three drivers, again, to see which one of them will come out on top. It was similar in Bahrain. Radiant Slothz there missed the curb completely and going straight into the grass. Not going to be helping his lap time, but here we go. End of the lap. Sneaking up behind Sergio Perez, and given that Perez has already dropped back quite far, he's not going to be getting a slipstream effect from Valtteri Bottas as much as he would have done on the previous lap. They've already pulled 3 seconds over Norris, who did get past Verstappen. They come down into turn 1, and Radiant Slothz has been able to get the move done. Daniel Ricciardo, by the way, for some reason, is not in the top 10 anymore. It looks as though he may have had contact with his teammate or Max Verstappen. Either one of those could be possible because they were all battling earlier on in the Grand Prix. As we go on board the rear end of Valtteri Bottas to watch the overtake going on behind him. Will he be scared? Who knows? What Valtteri Bottas might be thinking right now, seeing that green car appear in his mirrors. What we can say for sure, though, is that was a nice clean move as they come round onto lap 12 now. Radiant Slothz immediately much faster than Sergio Perez. Probably good for his campaign here that he's managed to get past. And Valtteri Bottas looking a little vulnerable here as he goes to the outside, and he does a Bottas. He tries to crash into him. Oh, and he runs it wide, and Radiant Slothz has to go over the curve. That is the second time we've seen Valtteri Bottas do that this race. He did it to his teammate and Max Verstappen at the start of the race and caused contact between the two. Sabotage. Valtteri Bottas resorted to cheating to try and keep Radiant Slothz behind him. Unbelievable. Let's go on board. He already pulled to the right there, and then he drifted around all over the place, ran the car wide, making Radiant Slothz go over the sausage curb. That has almost definitely done floor damage. As we go on board with him. Look at it, weaving all over the place. It's no wonder him and Russell had contact, and there we go. Radiant Slothz round the outside, does not give up his position, and the FIA have confirmed that was a completely legal move given the circumstances, and it appears to have done some damage to Bottas, because right now he's being overtaken by Sergio Perez for P2. The Red Bull already demonstrated it's not quite as fast as the Radiant Racing car, so he's probably not going to be able to catch up for the lead. And then in the background we've got Lando Norris and Max Verstappen, who we are going on board with now. On the penultimate lap, he's going to try it round the outside into turn 1. He probably should know better now. Bottas, for the third time, makes contact with someone. at turn 1. And Lando Norris has to sit behind for another few laps. Well, he's only got 1 lap left, so he doesn't have to wait too long before the end of the race. So clock's ticking, Lando. Get the car round. Get past Valtteri Bottas. As they come through. Final lap approaching. Lando Norris is going to have one more try. Bottas puts the squeeze on him, nearly blows him up in the barrier. But that is well and truly victory for Lando Norris there over Valtteri Bottas, who drops down to 4th position. Max Verstappen, if we go by what the other AI have been doing this race, is probably not even going to attempt to overtake Bottas before the end of the race, which means that Radiant Slothz surrounds the final corner. Sergio Perez still somewhere in the background. There he is. He crosses the line. It's a 2nd win for the season for Radiant Slothz. A great result for the team, and in stark contrast to how their season was going last time out. And driver of the day as well for surviving that horrific attack from Valtteri Bottas. The man whose name has not yet been disclosed to us celebrates. That's the team principal there. Radiant Slothz gets up on the car and starts breaking it in unimaginable ways as the rest of the team. There is a man who is also now in the garage, who was on the pit wall, who has managed to get over there in record time. And we'll get on to the podium. Radiant Slothz there decided that he doesn't want to pick up another fine from the FIA for filming on the podium, has just decided to violently threaten the crowd with some moves that he picked up in his boxing class. And he also sprays Sergio Perez in the eye, saying, "Don't come near me again or I will fight you. You just saw what I did." That's all. Let's get on with the final results. And here are the final results, and we know our top 3 already. Valtteri Bottas drops to 4th place after that lead throughout pretty much the entire race. He's followed by Max Verstappen, Pierre Gasly, Lance Stroll, Esteban Ocon, Sebastian Vettel and Fernando Alonso. Which means over in the Drivers' Championship, Sergio Perez once again takes control of the order, 1 point ahead of rival Radiant Slothz. Then we have Valtteri Bottas, just 6 points behind the leader, followed by Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, Lando Norris, Pierre Gasly, Daniel Ricciardo, Charles Leclerc and Lance Stroll. Yes, I also did a double take there at Lance Stroll being in 10th, but it is what it is. He was followed by Esteban Ocon, Yuki Tsunoda, Sebastian Vettel and Fernando Alonso on 2 points apiece. Then we have Carlos Sainz still on 0 points ahead of George Russell, Joe Guan Yu, Mick Schumacher, Nicholas Latifi, Antonio Giovinazzi, Nikita Mazepin and Christian Lundgaard. And finally, over in the Constructors, it's Red Bull's lead once again, just 3 points ahead of rivals Mercedes. Then it's a jump back to Radiant Racing, who are in a solid 3rd position this season. Then we have McLaren and AlphaTauri ahead of Ferrari for 4th, 5th and 6th, followed by Aston Martin, Alpine, Williams, Alfa Romeo and Haas. That's all. We'll catch you in the next one.